Hey there, I think we're live. Welcome to OnSet. I'm Daniel Norton, kind of hiding behind the computer over here. We have no Seth today, so once again, let me know if I'm not pressing the right button in the thing. Marissa's getting ready. We're going to, oh yeah, it is live, I can see over there. Marissa's getting ready. We're going to talk about using wide angle lenses for portraits today. I really am hiding behind this thing, I don't know why. And kind of how you use them. So what I want to do here is kind of work through why you might use them, and also kind of some of the common things that you're going to encounter when you do it, and ways to kind of get around it. So we're going to talk about how we would conventionally do something, and then how we'll do it because we're using a wide angle lens. That's kind of the take here. But let me know, we're always free form. There was a bit of conversation in the chat about, can professional shoots be laid back? Yes. I mean, I've definitely been on shoots where it's tense, but you got to have a sense of humor. We're not doing rocket science here, as I say. We're lucky to be photographers and in the arts, right? So if you're not having a good time, then I think that you're probably doing it wrong. Okay, so insofar as having an idea when you get somebody in front of you, yeah, I mean, I do. Oh, there she is, Marissa. Marissa actually comes to her mentoring Marissa sessions with elaborate ideas.
It's true.
No, it's good to have some ideas. No, see, usually the more you shoot, the more you kind of have things in the back of your head. And one of my philosophies when I'm doing like a portrait or shooting with somebody new is I do a thing I know is going to kind of work first. That way they feel comfortable. You don't want to do the crazy stuff first. You start with the simple shot. Plus, if you do something really cool and funky at the beginning, they won't like the simple shots at the end because our brain just won't let us do it. We'll be like, oh, that's fine. So do something easy that you know will work first, get people confident, get them happy, have fun, and then you can start cranking through. So let's talk about I'm defining things today. Am I hiding? I feel like I'm hiding. What is a wide angle lens? So normally, obviously, people will probably have all different references here. Some people say it starts at 35s, and I'm talking about full frame cameras. Some people say 24 or 28. We'll assume wide, beyond, I think 35 to me is almost a normal-ish lens. It's like a wide normal. So I'm gonna say like 28 to 24 is where your wide angle starts. And why would we wanna use a wide angle for portraits? we're gonna get rid of the easy stuff first. If you're shooting a large group, you're gonna use a wide lens and you're just gonna step back to get everybody in the shot. Just shoot normally. What you want to be wary of is if you don't have like a really, really expensive good lens, it might not be what they call rectilinear, which means that if you don't hold it perfectly balanced and straight, you might start to get distortions at the side. So just don't put anybody too close to the edges if you have a cheaper wide angle lens. I'm talking about shooting a single person up close and why I think this is become more and more common these days. So let's go into the middle here so we're not standing so much closer to the camera. I'm just going to use my regular setup, and then we're going to switch to a 15 millimeter that I have, which is a very wide lens. So people, your average person, right, today, they're getting a lot of photos of themselves taken with phones, right? The camera phone has replaced basically the compact camera or the point and shoot camera of, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, and the Instamatic or whatever they used to call them of years before that. Basically, people are getting more and more comfortable being shot with camera phones. Camera phones have wide lenses. So they're getting used to how they look. Also, and whereas before people were being shot, the only time you really get photographed is by a professional photographer who has read that book that was written in 1973 that says that you have to have an 85 millimeter lens to 150 millimeter lens to take a picture, right? We don't subscribe to that book. That's old stuff. We're looking at what's going on in the world, right? So we want to use a wider lens because that's going to give us images that will be more like what people are used to seeing themselves. My philosophy in portraiture is always to make people look the way they look, just as good as possible, right? We don't want to distort people too much unless you're doing something stylistic. So that's one reason why we go that way. Just make sure, how's my audio? I should ask that, I guess. I could be totally quiet. Hi, Marissa. Okay. Marissa's name only has one S in it. I should probably mention that because people often write your name with two S's.
I think that's technically the correct way.
Yeah, Marissa's name is wrong. So just in case you want to know that. So what's kind of cool here is we can use, what we want to get away from thinking is millimeters of lenses, even though I just told all those millimeters. Because if you came up like I did, you used all different formats, right? So a 150 millimeter lens on a 4x5 view camera is like a normal-ish wide lens. Whereas on a medium format camera, it's like a normal-ish lens to a little bit long, right? On a 35 millimeter, it's a bit of a telephoto lens. And on an APS, it's like a super telephoto, right? So we don't want to think about that. What we want to think about is why we're using various lenses to do various things. If we're looking at a full frame camera and we're shooting with a wide lens, like a 24, we're doing it because we either, I'm getting a phone call. No, I'm not. Let me put myself on Do Not Disturb. That was embarrassing.
Oh, shame.
I know. I get called out there. I'm that guy that didn't turn the phone off. So it probably went over the live stream and everything else. Well, I had to make sure it wasn't my mom. So what was I saying? What we want to think about is how much we want the image to be distorted, we'll call it, and how close we want to be to our subject. Those two things are connected. The closer you are to your subject, the more what we call distortion will happen. Not only from the lenses not being perfect, but just as you get closer to things, they zoom up. But if you get in front of a mirror and you walk real close and put your face real close, you'll see your face get stretched back out. Or you can see when you're close to something, it stretches. When you stand back, it compresses. Somebody's going to tell me compression isn't a real thing, so go ahead and do that now so we get that out of the way. But that's what we think about. So your traditional photographer is going to say, hey, I want to use a long lens so I can stand back further, still get the framing I want, and have compressed, right? Make the nose small, make the face square it off, jawline. Again, a kind of an unnatural look, but can look really good depending on who you're photographing, right? It's a cool look, but it's not a natural look. But if we get too close, then we get the opposite. We get the kind of unnatural, you're in their face look. This can often be fun if you want to do an image where you're interacting with somebody. Shoot a lot of kids with wide angle lenses. They're close to the lens. They're kind of moving around. There's lots of joy going on. This can really work. Or something you can do with something spooky too, right? And I'm not talking about fisheye, super wide lenses. I'm talking about just regular wide lenses. So first of all, let's just light up a shot normally. And then we're going to come in with the wide angle lens and we'll mess around. So I normally shoot, so we keep our baseline around 70. That's like pretty much my baseline. By the way, I will try to say all the gear as I'm going, like I usually do. Oh, this is a Nikon Z6ii. This is a 24 to 120. I'm using Profoto lights. We're going to start with the beauty dish because Marissa is beautiful. And if she doesn't look good with the beauty dish, well, I guess we know what that means. Okay, so this is a Profoto B10. It is our normal protocol, right, to make a portrait. If we're going by what does Daniel do? Well, let me do the black frame too, yes, but what does Daniel normally do? Get the light in real close. Why do we want the light in close? We want the light close because it will be bigger relative to our subject, thus softer, and we'll have greater fall off and greater control. So we're going to light this up how we normally would light it. So we're going to take our beauty dish. I'm not going to put it butterfly style yet. I'm just going to come here. I'm going to put it in nice and close. I'm going to put it above eye level, slightly tilted down. This is kind of standard stuff here, right? This is your first time, then maybe it's standard for you. It's slightly in the shot there. We want to look. If it's in the shot, we back it up a little bit. It's still there a tiny bit. I'll just go like this. All right, so here we are. I'm using Profoto lights. I'm using TTL, but before we do anything, I'm going to turn the flash off. And what I want to do is get a black frame. That means I want to set up the situation where none of the light in the space is affecting my shot. I'm going to set my shutter speed at the fastest within its normal range, which is 200. ISO at the lowest within its normal range, 100. And then the aperture at whatever I need to get the look that I want, but also that the flame will be... The flame. The frame. By the way, I just watched Fantasy. Have you ever seen the original Fantasy Island?
No. Is that a reality TV show?
No. They remade it, and I have not seen the remake of Fantasy Island. But I'm like, oh man, I remember this when I was a kid. It is dark. It's a dark show. It's on Tubi.
A lot of older shows are very dark.
It's very dark. So go into it. It's dark. It's not what you remembered as a kid, because you probably didn't get it, unless you knew a lot of stuff as a kid, I guess. All right. So anyways, we're going to shoot a picture, And we should, in theory, have a black frame. I'm over here in Capture One. I'm going to, let's see, take this. Okay, guess I can't do that. Oh, there we go. Boop. Switch that out. And we're going to have basically a black frame. I see some chatting going on. Let's see what's happening. Oh. Oh, hold on. Speakers. Sounds okay though, right? Yeah, audio's good. Okay, okay. Audio is low. All right, well, I will try to talk louder. Okay. Let me see. Let me just check my levels to see if I think it's low. Me. I'll turn it up a little bit. Marissa's very loud, so I have to be careful with this. Okay. No, she won't. I just want to say that Marissa is at least twice as loud as me. And we went to go film a scene the other day, and I had to adjust the mics because she was too soft. I don't understand. I guess it was the role you were playing. Marissa is loud. Her character, Beth, or whatever her name was, she was quiet. Anyways, black frame. So we've got a black frame here. If we want to confirm that, I'm in Capture One, by the way. I have not upgraded it to the latest one. People ask me that every time. I'm going to slide it over here. Why haven't I updated it? Well, I haven't seen a need to. People always ask me why. Okay, so we move it up until we start to see some detail on her face, because that's where the light's hitting, right? We're getting it there about 2.2 stops. So we're 2 stops underexposed. That works for me. Okay, tell me if it's, oh, there we go, much better. Oh. All right, good. Okay, perfect. So we did it. We turned her up. See that? Look at that. You ask, you get. All right, so here we go. Black frame. Now, what does this even mean? Why does Daniel do this every time? Well, just in case you're new here, because every once in a while I like to jump back, because I feel like I might just say things that I do every week and people have missed it. We do this because that means that anything that we do now using Flash, we know that none of this ugly light in the space is affecting our shots. So we can actually see what we're doing. We can leave the lights on. We're good. That's one of the beauties of Flash. So now we know we have control over our space. I'm going to come back. People are going to ask me why I'm not using a light meter. I am. There is a light meter in your camera. It communicates via this box on top of my camera. I have the old one. Seth always tells me to get the better one, to the light, and it gives us a proper exposure, hopefully. It probably won't because I just said it was going to work. No, it worked. Okay, boom. All right, so here we go, right? Dramatic, kind of simple, dramatic portrait that might work here. She falls off a bit on the other side, so we could add a separation light here. So I have the softbox. Move it in here to the back. And you can't see me because I didn't switch this. They'd probably rather look at you anyways, but. Okay. All right, so we're going to go over here. Softbox, this is a Shimera Pro 2. I like this one because it's got it's got flat front, rather. It's not recessed. For some reason, I'm doing this backwards, and this is in my A group, but that's okay. I'll remember that. Now, separation hair light, beauty dish up front, classic portrait, right? Switch to here now, so you guys will get it right away. Again, I'm just going to leave it in TTL. Boom, right? Classic portrait, 70 millimeters, done. Now, let me just, before we go to, in like YouTube school, this is what they teach you to do, right? We gotta make it take some time to get to. Now, I just wanna show you kind of where I'm normally at, right? Now I'm just gonna do a quick shot. I'm gonna back up and use a longer lens just so you can see the difference. And again, I'm not going for a better or worse here, just different. So when we back up, we get that compression. Now our exposure is gonna be the same. I just left it in TTL, should be fine. And what we get is a little bit more compression. This is not a super long lens, but you can see the difference here between here. Again, it's very subtle, but you can kind of see in her nose the difference. So that's all fine and dandy. That's what you're gonna get in every other photo class. Let's go wide. Okay, so we're gonna use a wide angle lens. There's lots of reasons why we might use it. Like I said before, one of the main ones is that we just don't have enough space. So let's say, for instance, I have only this much space and I want to get a longer shot of her body, right? I want to get, let's say, down to, you know, her hands in the shot, because people are always like, oh, she doesn't have any hands. So if I do this, I'm probably going to go, this is Seth. Seth's not here today. We're getting wild. I'm going to go off the tripod because we're going to do a lot of different things today. All right, so I'm standing here, and I've got my lens, and I'm like, okay, and she's like, oh, but I just got my nails done. Can you do? So I can just go wider with my lens, right? If I go wider with my lens, a couple things here. Okay, you can do that if you want.
Oh.
No, just stand normally.
Okay, yeah.
If you're going to use a wider lens and you're going to photograph somebody's full body, you want to do a couple of things. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways. If I just stand here, like I see a lot of people do, and I'm not that tall, I'm like average. I'm pretty much an average guy in all ways, right? People will do this, and what we get when we do that, this is now at 50, we're still not wide yet. Of course, a beauty dish isn't the best thing in the world to show a whole body, but, oh, well, I have to, that's a different computer. We can see that it still looks pretty decent, right? We're normal, okay? If we go, I'm gonna leave it to here. If we go wider, I'm just gonna walk in. We go to 35, get the same composition. Oh, nope, and then I'm gonna go to 24. And what we're gonna see as we go in closer is what we were talking about before as far as distortion. Now, part of that is because we're using a wide angle lens, right? It's like, oh, well, wide angle lenses are gonna distort. But that's not the whole story. The story is that we're using a wide angle lens and I'm tilting the camera in order to achieve the composition that I want to achieve. If, instead of tilting the camera, I do what I would do, which is come in closer, and instead of going like this, I move the camera. You can actually even use the little lively thing here. And we keep our camera more or less straight. Oh. I did the thing where it shoots where when you touch the screen. That's not really what I wanted to do. It's okay. All right, so just look right at me. Yeah, good. Why are you putting your chin up all of a sudden?
I'm looking.
No, stay normal. There you go. Okay, so if we lower our camera instead, we can see that that takes care of a lot of the problems with the distortion. We take the boom to here. And again, this is not necessarily bad if you want to get the distortion, which some people do. Now, what we are seeing here, though, is background stuff, right? I'm in a small space. I'm going wide angle. What actually happens is it opens up what's behind you. We've shown this before, where like if you're just doing a headshot of somebody, sometimes you can just light up part of the background, because if you back up and then zoom in with your lens, you only get that little bit. That's again part of that compression, right, or the angle of view. When I'm this close and I'm having a massive angle of view, not only might I get distortion if I'm not level with my camera, I also can see everything in the back. I have to rethink how I'm lighting this thing. So let's revamp our lighting, because we're going to go wide angle now, and I'll talk a little bit about how you got to think about this. Let's quickly check here. Why don't I have an assistant? You know, I used to have an assistant, and I used to have all this extra stuff, and then people would just, all the time in the comments, they would say, Daniel, I don't have an assistant, and I don't have all the extra stuff, so I can't do this. So we just go for it. Me and Marissa, we're here doing our thing. All right. Now, normally, he's not my assistant, but Seth is normally the producer that runs the multicam, but yeah, Marissa's my assistant, but he's not here today. That's why I'm doing the multicam, if that's what you mean. Honestly, it's a funny thing. When I do, or like commercial work, like a catalog or something, I like to have a crew. You know, lots of people doing all the stuff. I drink my lattes. Sometimes I cut my beard into a goatee just for those shoots. But whenever I'm doing smaller projects or shooting for myself, I almost never have an assistant. And the reason why is because I think it's fun just to mess around with the subject, just have fun. So I don't want to have like a bunch of people there. They're like staring at us and jumping and being involved. So I usually don't use an assistant when I'm just doing like a standard portrait. All right, what we're going to do here is remember, we talked about the idea of, Daniel will always say, bring the light in real close so it gets as big as possible. We need to back our light off. We have to back it off so that we don't get it in the shot. The other thing it will do by backing it off is give us more coverage. And because I'm switching to a larger light source, it will still remain soft. One of the tips here, tip 1, they'll cut in with like a little title screen right now. They won't really. Tip 1, use larger light sources. If you want to control the light, you're going to need to use larger light sources and then use a grid or maybe some kind of flags. But you're going to want to use larger light sources with your wide angle shots because you're going to have to back the lights up. So we're backing our light up and we still want it to look, you know, awesome. So we want to think about where it's going to be positioned. We're going to turn it over here, bring kind of 45 to the front, raise it up. And you could do almost any kind of lighting. Actually, I'll make, you know what? I was going to do something simple, but because you guys want it, we'll make it a little more complicated. Are you going to look that way? Is that your plan? Is that the way you're going to look that way?
If that's okay.
No, I'd rather you look this way, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, just I don't have the space over there. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to use short lighting, which means I'm going to put the light behind her. And you're like, putting the light behind her, you have a wide lens. But again, we're going to follow that same idea. I know that I have this like wide lens, so I'm going to back the light up. Now I also know that we're going to see all kinds of junk behind her, so I'm actually going to go a little closer to the wall as well. Not too close though, because I got to get the light behind her, right? So I'm going to bring this in here. There's another reason why C-stands are good, because in theory, we could get this light boomed over her if we need to, but I don't think I'll need to. Let's just take a look. We've got the light more or less behind her. Again, I'm in TTL. That's my B light for some reason. I'm just going to come in here. Again, I'm going to go with 35. Let's go with 35 so we're not getting crazy. And we're going to go like this. Again, I'm going to come down. Perfect. I have no idea what happened there. Oh. Aha! I had the wrong light on. No, hold on. Oh. I was wrong. You're looking at a black frame mostly because I turned off the wrong light. Now, if this ever happens to you on a shoot, blame it on the assistant. That's what the assistant's there for. It's like, Daniel, what are you doing? Can you bring your hand in a tiny bit? In. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, so you know what we're going to need? I need a different light because I'm going against my original plan. So this is what happens when you don't have a plan. Nope, nope, nope. This looks like garbage. Okay, so you can't see the picture because I haven't switched. Thankfully. Hold on, I was going to have to use a different light. I'm going to go back to the Petri dish. I'm going to do exactly the opposite of what I just said because we're doing this short lighting because somehow I decided to change my mind. And you can't change your mind twice. That's really the rule. So now that I've already changed my mind, I have to just stick with this. All right. So what we're going to get here is a punchier light from behind. And I think what I'm going to do to show you guys is, what are you looking at? Here, I'll show you the terrible shot. I'm not afraid to show you the terrible shot. Okay, because this light throws the light everywhere, it just hits the ground. It just doesn't look very good. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to use the Beauty Dish and try to really control where the light falls. And one thing we can do here is we can actually turn the modeling light on if we want. I'll turn this off so you guys can see. So we can really see where the light is. Okay, yeah, that's good like that. Yep, this way more. Yeah, right there.
Profile?
Yeah, profile, just like that. So we're going to come in, and again, I got 35 millimeter. What are you guys looking at? You're looking at me, that's fine, okay. 35 millimeter lens. There we go. Okay. All right, so we've got our 35, and it's giving us, again, a nice silhouette. We're not getting any distortion, right? We're losing a lot of her body, of course, because the way the lighting is. So I'm going to add a second light now. Hold on. Are you watching from, oh, okay, not actually on the beach. Okay, you guys are funny. Okay, might as well. Okay, so here we go. Back to this. That looked fine. Now we're getting at least better where we're at. Right? We're still using a relatively wide lens. Don't worry, I'm getting to the super wide lens. Let's add a fill light. Now, the way I'm going to do this, and again, there are lots of ways to do things. You might be thinking, Daniel, I know what you're going to do. You're going to use an on-axis fill because that's what you always do. But some of you are thinking, that's a bad idea. And you would be right, because it's going to kill the vibe of the whole thing. What we want is some light around her body, but we don't want it to go everywhere. So again, we should probably put a grid on this, or like a gridded softbox, but I don't have one. One of the challenges of these live streams that I do to myself is I don't bring all the stuff that I have out. Because I just want to see what I can do with what I have. Because again, much like an assistant, if you show up on a photo shoot and you don't have the thing that you have back at your studio, then, you know, you got to make it work. So let me see you back in that side position again. Okay, we can see what I'm doing here. What are you looking at? Yeah, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to basically swing this in. It's still going to hit the back a little bit because I don't have a grid, but something like this is probably going to work for us. So this is my A light. Let's switch to here so you guys can immediately see how great or terrible it is. Again, 35 millimeter, I'm going to go even wider. We're going full 24. That is how I roll. For some reason it's focusing on her shoulder, but I'll deal with that in a second. All right, perfect. Oh, I actually like that vibe. Okay, I'm a little bit too low, I think, because of her pose, but we'll mess with that. The light is too strong, the fill light, but otherwise I think it's working. So I'm going to make some quick adjustments. Okay, so I'm going to go out of TTL for a second. I'll leave this on so you guys can see. And we're going to go to manual. I'm going to take the A light, which is the softbox. I'm going to bring it down 2 stops. Think that should be good? Actually, you know, let me show you something. Instead of just doing math and showing you, oh, Daniel can figure it out. The way you would do this if you weren't sure what to do here is you would look at it here and you say, well, this is the fill. So this is the shadow. I want this to be like a stop-ish under the main exposure. So I'm just going to grab my exposure slider and I'm going to bring it back. I'm not looking at the highlight. I'm just looking at the shadow to where I think the shadow looks good. Okay? That's probably about right. Yeah, just a 1.4. So I'm going to say 2 stops, which is what I had said. We're going to go 2 stops under. I reset it so that it wouldn't do it to all my other images. And I'm going to have you take this front shoulder and like drop it more. Because we have to consider that we've got a wide angle lens. We don't want that shoulder. And then bring your chin like this. Down. Looking this way. Good. Oh, you blinked. That's okay. One more. I guess I should probably turn on the eyeball focus because for some reason it loves your shoulder. There we go. Okay, now we can see that we're getting beautiful fill light. Oh, I love that little reflection on her chin there and her lips. And you can see with her pose, which is super awkward and weird, but for the wide angle lens, it works, right? Can you see? Yeah, you can. Sometimes I show a picture for like 5 minutes and I forget to put it on the screen. And we can see how this is starting to work. Now I still have junk behind her we could deal with. I think I'm just gonna have you take 2 more steps back. Yeah. And we can see how we're starting to get something that's interesting here, right? We're creating something by using the thing about the wide angle lens that is normally something that's not good. Now, I'll also point out that if I wanted a lot of control, I could just throw a background up, which would make more sense. Like you're seeing junk in my studio, that's something that, you know, we could deal with if we needed to. Add a flag. We're not looking at any flame. What? There you are. You must be behind in the screen because you should be looking at a frame. I'm going to wait for a second. I think there's a massive delay. So let me know what you're talking about the flag, because I think I'm too far behind. Are you talking about the light going everywhere? I think we got pretty good control. So I believe that we're behind. You saw what we got there. Let's see if we can get this. Let's go a little bit more rock star with this, because you know, Marissa's a rock star. Now, what is it that you always do when you're photographing a rock star in your studio? You put them on an Apple box. Now, the Apple box is traditionally used for exactly this reason. It is not used to put apples. Okay, so Marissa's gonna not put her drink in the shot too, which is good, because we didn't get any advertising money. Yes, exactly. Go ahead. You can do that. I'm not gonna get the whole thing because you don't have enough space. Yeah, but you can just make sure that. Oh, all right. You have to. Yep, there you go. Okay. Yeah, she's gonna flash dance, but you gotta make sure that front shoulder's down more.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see how you're gonna do it.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Just like that. Okay. So if you're gonna do that, I'm gonna move the lights, which is totally fine. I do not mind moving the lights because if that's what it takes to get the good shot. One thing we have to consider whenever photographing somebody that has a very specific hairstyle, as opposed to me, that my hairstyle is very unspecific, is sometimes it flows one way or the other, right? So you may have to move your lights around depending on their posing, because we want to give the light where it needs to go. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I believe you're looking at me now, I hope. Got to give you guys some kind of remote access from home so you can actually see. All right, you can see now what I did. I kind of rebuilt it the other way. Control the spill, okay, yeah. Okay, good. All right, we're going to go back to show the screen while I shoot this, because I think you have an idea of where this is set up. So again, I'm going to go with 35 to start. Let me see. Yep, let's see you flash dance it. Okay, boom. And we're just going to see what we got. Oh, I did not change the lights. Okay, this is not, I didn't change the power, so it's not exactly right. That is terrible in the most perfect way. Okay, no. We're going to say no to that.
What? Wait, okay.
No. Be more. Yeah. I'm not really sure what this says about Marissa when I say to do rock star and this is what she does, but.
This is Flash, the movie, you know, when she pulls the chain.
Yes, I remember Flashdance very much. She pulls the chain, yes, and the water comes down.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Wasn't Kevin Bacon in that?
Or was that Footloose? I think.
Or is that Footloose? All right.
All right, more rock star.
Okay, we got it. So you got to be more mopey. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Let me see. Okay, you can do that. So if we're going to do this, Marissa's still completely killing my light. I'm going to change the light because I like this. No, it's good. You get how you want to be. This is a little side kind of thing here. Okay, this is basically where we're at, right? She's going to be rock starring it like this, more or less. How do we like this to make it look good? Not the way I have it lit, clearly. So I'm going to take this, and I'm actually going to use, I want to keep this simple, so I think I'm just going to use this light by itself, and I'm going to do one of these like, this is one of the advantages. Oftentimes when you see me shooting in here, I don't know what you're looking at right now. You're looking at this, okay. Oftentimes when you see me shooting in here, I'm struggling because I don't want the white floors to bounce everything. Here, I'm gonna use it to my advantage. We're gonna let the light scrape by her, bounce off the floor and fill, so we don't have too much contrast. Okay. I wanna get my 15mm out in a second, but we're gonna get this first. All right, we're going for 24. All right, so this is the A group, right? So I'm gonna turn off the B light. I should tell you that when they first added live view to cameras, like many old photographers, I was like, oh, kids holding the camera. It is the best thing in the world to be able to hold the camera low and not have to worry about, getting on the ground. All right, so here we go. We're getting this really interesting mood versus getting into the vibe. We have decent light on. I still have crap in the background. Stuff in the background. We'll bleep that out. I actually like that shadow. I feel like I want to rip a little light across this side though. So we're going to come in here and we're going to add that beauty dish back in. You are welcome. Perfect bounce. Exactly. Finally, the floor works to our advantage. This is good, actually. You know what? Okay, this is like side lesson. If you find yourself in the position that I'm in right now, which is, oh man, I'm struggling with the background, embrace it. Let's get the 15 millimeter. We're going for it. Dun, da, da. All right, so let's say that you're cool, like I am. Everybody's freaking out now that I turned the camera off, just so you know. I'll try not to drop my lens on the ground. This is like Dust City here, I just did that, but okay. Let's say you are cool like I am, and you've got this 15 millimeter lens, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go do a photo shoot. Then this is you. Yeah, this is the, I think it's called Nicey. It's Nicey. Oh no, this is not. This is the wrong lens. Where's my other lens? There it is. Let's say that you're cool like me, and you don't know what lens you're grabbing when you reach into your bag. Look before you leap, basically. Okay, so here we go. Nobody saw that. Fear not, I did not drop the camera yet. Okay, so this is a Nicey lens. It's 15 millimeters. I actually did a video about this on Adorama, and it's the lens I used for the image that we used for the thumbnail. That's the reason why I brought it today, because I want to show you that you can make an image like this and use the background to your advantage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and Marissa's got her cool rock star pose. We're going to incorporate the window and the stuff in the background using our wide angle lens. This is manual focus, so you're going to have to bear with me. Okay. Keeping in mind, I'm waiting for the camera to connect again. There we go. Keeping it, whoa. What am I looking at? Oh, lens cap. There we go. That was really funny. This is a wide lens. And this is not exactly a super premium lens. So we're going to have to be very careful about how we frame this up. So I'll switch to the thing so you can immediately see the picture and judge me. This is a manual aperture camera. So I'm going to set it at 5.6. That's where we were at. Now, one thing about kind of some of these like third-party manual lenses is you want to kind of do a test, right? I don't want to necessarily trust that 5.6 is 5.6, if you know what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a test shot first. I'm in manual, remember. Okay, I got focus peaking on. And it's not going to let me shoot because the camera does not let you shoot unless you do something. And this is why it's nice to have Seth here. Okay, hold on a second, guys. Who has an icon and can remember how to do this? The camera is set in such a way that won't let me shoot without a lens. It doesn't know I have a lens on it because it's not an electronic lens. Let's see, menu. Let's see, it's probably in the wrench. Always fun to fix a camera while we're non-CPU lens. No, that's not right. Come on. Well, that's going to be sad. It won't let me shoot. This is gonna be fun to watch. So right now I'm just looking because this is not allowing me to shoot. It's doing the thing where you can't take a picture without a lens. Ugh, okay. All right, guys, sorry you're not gonna get the 15mm lens because I'm not gonna sit here during a live stream, and that is very disappointing. In the next live stream, I will bust out that lens once Seth fixes it. This is the problem with cameras being too smart. All right, so let's switch to the 24. That was very sad. I know, it's sad. Marissa is not happy. Let me tell you right now. She's not happy with me. Focus or release? Oh, you got me. Okay, hold on. You got it. Okay, hold on. He's got it. It's the release or focus option. Okay. Dun, da, 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 da. Okay, so that is under the pencil, I'm guessing. Oop. You guys are so great. Thank you. Okay, hold on though. Where is that though? I still don't see it. Maybe it's on the camera? I don't see it here. What menu is it under? A1 option, first option. Under the pencil, I guess. Fascinating. Oh, there it is, release. All right, let's try it.
Yay!
Well, we got to put that lens on first. Hold on. I trust you, but let me just make sure. All right. Nada. Still not happening. Autofocus. Menu. Release. Release. Nope, it's on release. It's not working. Nada. Not happening. Sorry, guys. We'll fix it and do it next time. We'll be back on April 4th, which is not April Fool's Day, so I will actually do it. Thank you, though, but it didn't work. Okay, so now I'm not sure. Is this going to work? There we go. That works. All right, so we're going to go 24. That's a bummer. Sadness. But hey, you know what? Life is this way. Are you continuous focus or single point? I'm in manual focus. Do I have to change that here? Yeah, single anyways, but yes, I was in manual focus. All right, so thank you though, but I figured during the live stream is not the time to do this, so Adorama will not be happy. All right, if I sit there and try to fix my camera during the live stream. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do a kind of a wide shot using the space. It's not gonna be as dramatic without the 15. I mean, what I should do is take that camera that I'm filming with, because that's the one I did for the video, so it's probably set up properly. Okay. Here I'm using autofocus. All right, we're gonna come in, I'm gonna level the camera with her. I'm going to come in here. It's on eyeball focus, which is nice. Now, remember that, oops, sorry. Okay, hold on. Focusing on her eyeball. Here we go. Okay, I'm trying to get the light right before we spend too much time on this. Okay, so now we're using the space, right? And we're setting up a bit of a vibe here, okay? We've got the cool, you know what we gotta do. So as soon as you see this, you're like, oh, this is kind of cool, but Daniel, what about the one window that's closed? Yeah, you're right. Let's open that up. We got this. It's all coming together. It's the end of the day, it's kind of the winter. The lights are kind of cool behind us. She's in this empty space. She's like, I'm Marissa, and I'm so sad. Buy my record. It's all about my breakup when I was 14.
It's all about how we can't get the 15 millimeters down.
Wow, Marissa's throwing shade on the lens. Okay. And what we can do is we can work this. Now, what you definitely want to be wary of is, again, keeping it more or less level. This is a 24 millimeter, by the way. And we can do that. So now, I can also move in, obviously. It's still going to stay wide. And if we put it really close to the edge, we're going to have the most chance of distortion, but that's okay, because we like distortion. And the great thing about shooting musicians these days, back instead of when I used to do it more often, is that people like rectangle pictures. You used to always have to shoot square. What a waste. You were doing digital. And I know some digital cameras can shoot square, but we're hoping the exposure is good because I didn't look. But that's okay. I trust myself. Okay, yeah. And we can see that we can bring the space in. I can open the other window now. Let's open that other window.
Yeah, because I'm a rock star.
Okay.
Free window.
So we're coming in, and I'm going to get a little. I'm going to push the distortion level as soon as we get one more window, and then we got this. Okay, we're opening the third window, and we're using the background. Now, Marissa's, she just wrote this record about pizza and how the Jamba Juice was too expensive.
I told you my juice was $7.
$7 for a juice.
$7 juice.
And of course, just, as a heads up, we are in manual. We're at 5.6 at 200th of a second. If I want, I can dial my shutter down a tiny bit. I'm going to turn off this modeling light over my head. Hopefully it's not going to screw up my autofocus. Let's see if I can still focus. Yeah, I can. Okay. And I should be able to start to bring the windows brighter. Now, if I want to get the windows darker, I can, we had a very out of focus one, but that one actually looks pretty good. Okay, so we can bring the windows up. She looks sad, which is perfect. Sad Marissa is my favorite Marissa. Not tired Marissa, but sad Marissa.
Always sad.
Yeah, always sad Marissa. She's always sad. That is true. Everything is expensive in this world. That is the truth. Hold on, it's separate for both. Yeah. Really should without car to have that one too, yeah. I will figure this out, guys, and Seth will figure this out. Now, we're going to try one more thing because I got a few minutes left in my time here before they kick me off, and let's add that extra level. As the kids say, let's level this up. This looks good. We're pretty happy here. We're feeling it. But wouldn't it be nice just to have a speck more light hitting her from the back, just to kind of rip that in? So I have the beauty dish over here. Now, I don't have to use the beauty dish because I've already used it once, so I can already charge them for it. But if I come over here, and now one trick with the wide angle lens is that if I put it back here, the further back I put it, the more likely, because remember your angle of view, right? The more likely it's going to be in the shot. Actually, when I get it closer to it, it's actually less likely, which seems to not make sense, but that's the way it is. So being closer to her actually helps us. We're going to go like this. That should be out of the shot, but I will just check it. No, it's definitely in the shot. Okay, so I'm going to do it from this side. It's been a long day. I'm going to make my life easy. I'm just going to put it on this side. Sometimes you just got to make your life easy, guys. I'm pretty happy with that shot. So the trick to any good portrait shoot is to shoot until it looks awesome and then keep shooting until it looks bad. Then stop. Because then you know you've exhausted everything. So I'm turning off the A light. And I'm just going to fire up the B light, which is the beauty dish. And I'm going to see what we get with this. Okay, the stand's a little bit in the shot, but I'm just going to see what the exposure is, and I'll adjust the stand in a second. Oh, heck yeah. Okay, let me fix the stand. I'm going to take the stand out of the shot just by backing it up a tiny bit. I have a grid on this, so I should be able to back it up and it should be fine. I'm going to turn the power up a tiny bit because I backed it up. I'm going to turn my A light back on, which is my key light. Okay, here we go. Should be good. Sad Marissa. Okay. There we go. Slightly out of focus. I'm going to tweak the focus. And otherwise, I think we're good. Now you're saying, for the drama of the room's shadow. Yeah, exactly. You don't, yeah, I don't want to light the room up because I feel like if you do that, it will be too much. But we don't know what is on the other side, right? We don't know what's on the other side of Marissa, so we can add a little bit of light over there. It doesn't look too abnormal. I think it's a little bit. All right, I'm going to make 2 changes here. One is I'm going to put the camera on a tripod because I feel like once you've locked in, you should do that. And I'm running around on a tripod almost this whole session. Okay, we're going to go on a tripod so that we can be organized here. And I need to get a better focus on her, which is sometimes tricky with this camera when the light's low. So we're going to come in here, wait till it grabs it nicely. I'm going to turn this modeling light on so I can actually see a little better. Oop, blink. Okay. Let's see what that looks like before I make a commitment to this. I'm untangling my massive, you know, they have wireless tethering now. I gotta really try it. They've had it for a while, but it's actually good now. Oh, look at that. Oh, look. I think we got it. You know what? What bothers me? That little crack in the window shade back there. Let me fix that, and I think we're good. Doesn't bother me that much, but there's always something you want to fix. And that is the kind of thing that I would not be able to Photoshop because I'm not good enough at Photoshop. Okay, here we go. Bring your chin down. Yep, there we go. All right, we're doing a live stream. Sorry, guys. All right, good. We got some cool shots. Everything's looking pretty decent. We're using the space. You notice there is some distortion, but we're using it to our advantage, right? It feels more intimate because we're right up on her with the camera. We've kept everything level, though, so it's not like kind of a bad distortion. And it just feels like you're there with her. It feels more intimate. Now with more light to come out of their person, yeah. All right. Back in the sun. Huh. You gotta look for the crack, exactly, all that stuff in the background. I do need a camera stand. You know, well, you had 2 camera stands in the studio when I moved in, and I gave them both away. And every once in a while, I'm like, camera stand. So yeah, once you get something set up like this, a tripod is just invaluable. It just makes things go so much faster. If this was a longer shoot, I'd be sitting here on an Apple box with her, having a conversation, getting into the mood. I don't have to really look through the camera. Everything's good to go. It's lit up. We're using our space to our advantage. It feels lit, but it feels naturalistic. And you can change the ratios. I'm talking funny today. You can change the ratios all you want. I kind of went with a heavier hair light because I wanted to really have that drama to pull you into that side of the frame, but you could make it more subtle as well. You could also have gelled it and made it a little bit blue or something so it felt like the rest of the scene. There's lots of ways to do this, but basically the concept here is we're using our wide angle lens. I showed you kind of why people don't like them, right? Like why sometimes people are hesitant to use them because of the distortion and because of the thing, and why people often use longer lenses, but there is this advantage to using them if you think about what the wide angle lens brings to the picture and you bring it into your shot. So if you haven't already, please do hit the like thingy there, the little thumbs up, that way they keep bringing us back. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and ring the bell. They do live streams at Adorama 2 times a month with me, at least once a month with Gavin, and Seth often comes on as well, so you're looking at live streams almost every week, plus tons of other content. Really great stuff here. If you have any comments about this or questions, if you're watching it after the fact or after I sign off here, put them in the comments below and I will answer them. You can find Marissa at marissa.roper. Not the word dot, but like the period, the dot. I'm Daniel Norton, photographer, and of course I'm not ready yet, so hold on. I'm gonna get my thing ready. Pretend like I'm still talking. All right, hold on. Let me get the thanks for watching thing over here. Here we go. Oh, nope, it didn't work. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna do it real slick now. Okay, so, and we'll see you next time. There we go, that did it.